Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're talking Cricket 24, the latest cricket game that is going to be coming, and it'll be probably coming a little bit later than we thought, but let's get into that very shortly. So of course, if you've been following my channel or you've been following the Cricket 24 news world, you've noticed there hasn't been much going on since the original announcement on April the 4th, where we were told that Cricket 24 official game of the Ashes is going to be releasing in June of this year. Of course, there are a number of features that they said were going to be in the game, with the key point being releasing around the Ashes. Now, the Ashes are just 16 days away at the time of recording this video, and we still have yet to hear anything about the release of the game, and so it's a bit up in the air as to whether it's going to make the first Ashes test. So Big Ant Studios, who also recently released AFL 23, could have a big impact from that game as to why this game is being delayed. So let's get into the minutiae as to why that could be the case. So there's obviously a few question marks over release date, and we actually had a little bit of information yesterday, or overnight I suppose, in Nakon's press release for their full year results. Nacon being the head company that owns Big Ant Studios currently, who are releasing this cricket game. And in this report, obviously they go through a lot of their financial data from the last year, but it also then says that 2023 to 24 will feature a heavy release schedule with around 20 games due to be released in the period as opposed to 13 in the previous year. This is, of course, their gaming division. They own a number of companies, not just Big Ant Studios. The beginning of the financial year has already seen the release of Lord of the Rings Gollum, TT Isle of Man, and AFL 23, while Cricket 24 and Rugby 24, the official game of the Rugby World Cup, will come out in July and September, respectively. Now, this, as I said, was only released yesterday, and it does say the game will come out in July. Chances are this is more correct because this will be going, I guess, to a lot more of their financial people, their investors, so they want to know when things are coming out, and that is probably the most correct information that we'll get out of anyone at this given point. So July is probably going to be when we see the game over June. So possibly could release just after the second test. I think Lord's test is the second test. I will actually be going to the cricket at Lord's on the 1st of July. Very excited. But I feel like that is probably when around it's going to be released, either that week or like the week after, because you want it early July at some stage if it is coming out in July, because the Ashes will already be halfway through by that point. And then of course the back end of the year goes into an ODI World Cup. So this is the big selling point for cricket this year: is can it get out in time for the Ashes before it is going to be released? And a few reasons as to why this could be done. This could be a business decision from Nacon, obviously. If we're looking at their sales numbers from the last quarter, they said they went up 66% in sales. So if they move it from June to July, it actually bumps it from one quarter to the next. So it could give a bolster to that quarter rather than, having it in the back end of one and then at the start of the next. So it could really give a bolster to that quarter and be like, hey, look, guys, we've really jumped in sales this month. I actually did think it was going to be a different financial year, but the way they operate is an April to March financial year. So it won't give a boost to their new fiscal year numbers, because that's sort of the thing that you would think of if it's going to give a jump to the investors, is like, hey, we're moving this from June to July because then it's really going to make July pop and make it look like we're starting the new financial year out strong. So that was sort of my thought processes there. But of course, the more logical reason for this would be because of the AFL 23 launch, and they might have had to, in terms of, if you weren't aware, there were a number of bugs upon release for the game. There's been 21 and counting patches since release date, just under 4 weeks ago. So it has been or just over 4 weeks ago now. It's been a challenge, that release for them, and I reckon what might have happened is they would have had to pull more resources from the cricket team to the AFL team to try and fix that prior to getting this new game out, which they were like, hey, maybe we'll just give ourselves a bit more time here to release this game. The other thing is AFL still hasn't released for Xbox. I don't know whether that has anything to do with this delay at all, but it could mean their decision with Microsoft is like, hey, we won't let you release another game on our platform until you fix the first one that you haven't released yet. So that is the other question mark as to, I don't know whether that's real or not. I'm probably just making shit up. But that is just my thought process here. So for all we know, the game is still coming in June. But given the information we have, chances are it's coming out in July, and as each day goes by, it's increasingly unlikely we're going to see the game come out this month. At least before the first Ashes Test or before the World Test Championship final, which is later on this week. But let's get into a few other things, because I haven't really covered too much of the speculation and things of going-ons in Cricket 24. There's a few things, obviously, we don't know. We still don't know Pro Team or how that'll work, because it hasn't launched in AFL 23 yet, so we don't know how it's going to work in Cricket 24 in terms of how many players will be there, how the microtransaction part of it will work, if it will be virtual currency or if it will just be, here's $3 to buy a card or whatever it is. We don't know any of that information, so that is an unanswered question. I'm going to leave that there. In terms of career mode, we don't really know the changes. We don't really know anything. I still don't think we actually have a screenshot of the new game, so we don't know what it looks like. So I'm probably going to do some Ashes stuff on Cricket 22, as well as the World Test Championship final on Cricket 22, because chances are we're not seeing this game for a couple more weeks at least. The other big info that we do have about this game is that there will probably be IPL franchises in Cricket 24. Now, the reason we say this is just prior to the AFL 23 launch, Ross, the boss of Big Ant, he was doing a bunch of photo shoot stuff in India. Whether this was capturing teams, I presume that was part of it, as well as getting stadium reference for models of Indian stadiums. So I'll give you the list of places that he went to and the possible teams that we could be seeing in Cricket 24. So we could be seeing the Mumbai Indians, the Delhi Capitals, the Lucknow Super Giants, the Gujarat Titans, and the Punjab Kings. They were the 5 places that he went to in terms of teams-wise that he posted about on Twitter. He could have done more teams, we don't know, but those were the 5 possible teams that are going to be in Cricket 24, as well as Calder Stadium in Delhi, Akana Stadium in Lucknow, and the Narendra Modi Stadium in Gujarat, which is that huge 120k plus capacity stadium. That they were there and possibly getting photo reference to model those stadiums in Cricket 24, which would be awesome if that's the case. Because, bit of culture. And the first time we would have seen Indian teams in a mainstream console cricket game for a significant period of time. I think the last time that there was Indian teams was maybe their national team in licensed World Cup games. But outside of that, there wasn't much. So really good to see that they are expanding into those areas, and that it's more of a chance than ever that we're going to see Indian players in Cricket 24. As I said, we still don't really know anything about the career mode. I'd love to be able to do the player version and a team version if you wanted to play as just the national team and go across all their tours. So just play as the Australian team. I think that would be really cool. But again, we don't know anything. Because there's just been no information released, which is really disappointing given the fact that it is now the release month, or the initial release month of the game, and we still don't have any concrete information as to, even the team saying, hey guys, we don't have any news for you now, but the game is still coming this month. That would have been great to hear. I did actually reach out to Big Ant to see if they had anything to say. Didn't get a response. That's fine. They've got busier things to do than reply to me. So that's it for today's video, everyone. Cricket 24. Has it been delayed? Probably. But, once we get some more official information. But, look, I'm going to say this. Chances are we probably won't. So, if you don't hear anything, it's not coming out this month. That's just my thought process. But they could just drop a trailer and release it within a week or two. Who knows? But I don't. I don't have a clue. All right, everyone, that's all. Thanks for watching today. Goodbye. Hopefully cricket coming soon. I'll have the World Test Championship final for you next week. That'll be great. Great content.